Hi, and welcome back. And this is Dr. Azad Mahdi with you. And I'm just want to continue in organic chemistry. And this section here is related to lectures I have done at Salahuddin University, Erbil 2015-16. And the syllabus was contained the following titles or subjects to study for the whole year. The first one is the history of coordination compounds and development. Second, the coordinated bond, nomenclature, naming of coordinated compounds, crystal field theory, the killer, isomerism, electronic spectroscopy and term symbols, ligand field theory, molecular orbital theory, kinetics and thermodynamic, physical properties of transition metals, and bioinorganic chemistry. So here I recommended some textbooks: Inorganic Chemistry, Catherine Housecroft and Alan Sharp; Introduction to Coordination, Solid State and Descriptive Inorganic Chemistry by Glenn Rogers; D. Shriver and P. Atkins, Inorganic Chemistry, Freeman and Company, 1999, and the other series at that time. Principles of Coordination Chemistry by John Nash. Inorganic Chemistry Journals, American Chemical Society, Royal Society of Chemistry, UK, Inorganic Chimica, ACTA, Italy. This is another book of inorganic elements in the chemistry of life, printed or published by Wiley. And of course, 1994, the first publisher, and then the years after. And Stephen Lippard, journal, and Berg, bioinorganic or bioorganic chemie, Academy Verlage, all internet search engines from trusted sites and are allowed for gathering information related to subjects given. Okay, so if we come to the history and development of coordination chemistry, coordination compounds, metal complexes or just complexes are compounds that contain a central atom or ion, usually a metal surrounded by a cluster of ions or molecules. So now this is the coordination chemistry, which is the main chemistry or the advanced more than inorganic or advanced in inorganic chemistry. So we deal with complexes, not the simple molecule, but higher molecular weight. And we may call them supermolecules, which they reach to the proteins and others. We will study the hemoglobin of the blood. We can like the enzymes in the bacteria produced by bacteria in the stomach, digestive system. So all of this we related to, there is a central atom and protein around them. This central atom coordinated or bonded to, if you see This is the first term we are saying coordinated. So there is a single bond, double bond. We studied that. Single, double, triple bonds. And now we have a coordinated bond. And the coordinated bond mostly being used by the lone pairs. You remember the simple molecules like ammonia, water, halogens. They always left over with double electrons to form non-bonding or lone pairs. So these lone pairs will get involved in the chemistry in the ligand field theory, in the other advanced theories. So it may be a cation or anion or non-ionic neutral, depending on some of the charges on the central atom, the surrounding ions and molecules. We could come or approach the chlorophyll in plants, hemoglobin in human and animals, invisible ink as cobalt solution, cobalt chloride, so on. Okay, so coordination polymerization of Ziegler-Natta catalyst. So here, alkene and propylene polymerization. The coordination compounds play an essential role in chemical industry and life itself. So since the 1980, the low pressure polymerization of ethylene, this is the first example, the low pressure polymerization of ethylene, which is a complex made by reacting pentachlorotitanium with triethyl aluminum to produce polymers. And if you know about polymers, they are the repeated sequence of molecules. And polymers are very well known in life to use plastic bottles, containers, plastic containers. We call them plastic, but they are actually made of polymers. So they are very essential for life, for living. First step to replace chlorine atom by alkyl, adding ethylene, alkyl migration, then repeating to result growth of a chain of polymer. And now if we come to the Carl Ziegler, 1950, with Giulio Natta, and they have made some type of polymers repeating. If you see, we can find the polymer making chairs. We call them plastic chairs, but not wooden one. You can see here the repeating of ethylene by N. N is the repeated molecule of ethylene. A repeated molecule of methyl functional group in ethylene, if we like replace the hydrogen by methyl group. So here the Carl Ziegler started with ethylene, added triethyl aluminum, and then there was a repeated ethylene to the left, bonded to to a double bond of ethylene. So here Natta started with the methyl ethylene and added the same aluminum triethyl and ended up with polypropylene. Polypropylene is here. So there is a polyethylene and there is a polypropylene. The polyethylene formed under Ziegler conditions It's called high density polyethylene and has in many ways more desirable properties than polyethylene formed by free radical polymerization. So the Ziegler method used to prepare polyethylene, whereas the Guilio Nata made polypropylene. So the mechanism here involved, we can check it here. It's somehow complicated. The mechanism of Ziegler-Natta catalysts to prepare polyethylene and polypropylene. And this catalyst, very important, titanium pentachloride, added to the alkyl, which entered, and then we use the aluminum ethyl group, and there was an intermediate, and then another ethylene entered or produced to end up with titanium. Here are the tetrachloride. So now this is the ethylene being produced to be the link to the titanium. Then alkyl migrated the alkyl and left us with titanium. And this is the long series of ethylene entered again. So this is a repeating method to add every time ethylene, removing the ethylene, migration, and then come back, and so on. So it's a schematic production of Ziegler. If we come to the chlorophyll, is vital for photosynthesis in plants, which is magnesium 2 complex ion. So now we are in the chlorophyll. In the center, there is a magnesium surrounded by 4 nitrogen donors, and they came from this big group. Okay, and there are some functional groups here, carboxy groups, ethylene, methyl, surrounded. If we come to the hemoglobin, this is hemoglobin carries oxygen to animal cells and is an iron 2 as a heme, and globin is the protein complex. So this is the zigzag protein surrounded inside. Here inside, there are 2 or 4 groups of heme, and the heme is a complex, and centered atom is the iron 2, and there is a porphyrin group bonded to the iron, and this hemoglobin can carry oxygen to the from the lungs to the cells, human body cells, and bring back the carbon dioxide to throw it out. And there will be a great mechanism in using the hemoglobin. Cobalt chloride solution as invisible ink. So this is an example of, you see here, hexa aqua cobalt chloride. When it's heated, it will give cobalt outside and inside tetrachlorocobalt plus 12 molecules of water. So here, this complex is colorless when diluted. But once it's been heated, Once evaporate so the blue will be dried. This one is a blue color and we can see the ink. So here, when it's with the moisture or with water, so it's invisible. You can write with this solution. But once the paper been written on and then put it on like even you blow on it or a little bit warm it, the water will evaporate and leave us with ink and the words will be shown. So what is written with this solution is not visible until the paper on which is written is heated because of the water is driven off and the blue complex is formed so we can read what's been written. Upon standing water, slowly taken up from the atmosphere, even we leave the paper opened and it will suck the moisture and then the visibility will be gone and words will disappear. These examples indicate the coordination compounds. So all we talk about chlorophyll, hemoglobin, invisible ink, they are all coordination compounds. So very common, but the nature of these compounds was not understood until the beginning of the 20th century. These compounds were referred to as complex compounds. This term is still in use. So development of complexes as a history, it is difficult to state exactly what was the first time being coordination or complexes being discovered, but maybe Prussian blue. The Prussian blue compounds were the first naturally occurring. It's involved iron, 2 irons. There is Cn by 3, Cn by 2, and outside there is KCN. Artist, color maker, this Bach in Berlin at the beginning of 18th century. So he used it as a first compound. The data usually cited that of the discovery of the hexamine cobalt-3 chloride, hexamine cobalt-3 chloride by Tazart marks the real beginning of coordination chemistry. Now, preparation of these properties, we can come to see generally involve reaction between salt and some other molecule or ion. At first, each compound was named after the chemist who originally prepared them. And as we see, here is some compound, coordinated compound complex. It's dichloroplatin, KClC2H4 is a Z's salt. Z's salt, the present formula, this was at the beginning, this is the present formula, is potassium outside and platinum inside the brackets with acetylene and trichloride. The Erdmann's salt, which is this one, is a potassium, and inside the complex, potassium outside is stabilizing the compound, which is a positive charge, and the brackets here is all charge will be minus, negative charge. So now it's a cobalt diamine tetranitro cobalt. And here is some compounds were named on the basis of color, like compound is cobalt Cl3 6NH3, it's a yellow, so that's been named by lithiocobaltic chloride. And 5-ammonia, it's a purple compound, and it's been called cobaltic chloride. The green one for ammonia are ratio-cobaltic chloride. The violet for NH3 will be violio-cobaltic chloride, and the white one is deuteriodic chloride. So the name of lutio because of contains the ammonia. The chloroamine complex cobalt Cl3 it is a cobalt 3 oxidation number, or +3. Why? Because there are 3 minuses here. And those of chromate 3 not only exhibit the spectrum colors, but also differ in the reactivity of their chlorides. So now addition of silver nitrate solution to the freshly prepared solution of this result immediate precipitation of all 3 chlorides. So it depends on the number of presents. And this experiments always given to the students at the 3rd year, and they can prepare it in the lab easily or by procedure. So cobalt chloride hexaamine plus number of silver nitrate that will precipitate the silver chloride. You see the chloride from here with the silver, so 3 of them, and cobalt nitrate will be formed. Okay, and you can, like, it's been cobalt chloride 5 amine plus silver nitrate will give 2 silver chloride. Okay, so now these observations suggest the cobalt chloride 5 NH3 and 4 NH3, there are 2 different kinds of chlorides. The type is perhaps similar to that of NaCl and is radially precipitates, whereas the other types held more firmly and does not precipitate. Okay. And another kind of experiment provides useful information about number of ions present in the solution. The greater the number of ions in the solution, the greater is electrical conductivity of solution. One other important early observation was that certain complexes exist in 2 different forms, having the same chemical composition, but it's like, you remember, there is a cis and trans. Example, green cobalt chloride 4 NH3 and violet cobalt chloride 4 NH3. So they are the same chemical composition, but different colors. So they are similar in the chemical formula, but they are different in what? In the color, which are isomers. And here, the first time we have or produce isomers, what does it mean? It means the direction of the 4-amine with the chloride will be different, or like one of the chloride will be at the top, 2 chloride at the bottom, and the here will be opposite to this one. So it's a different structure, different color. Several theories were proposed to draw structures of how metal bonds to ligands. So now the first time we talk about ligands, and the ligands, you know, they are functional groups coordinated to the metal. So when there is a group or an atom using its lone pair, give it to the central metal or transition metal. So that's will be named, the group will be named as ligand. Okay, so this is the first time we talk about something named ligand. So the ligand always use this name for the coordination between atoms or groups to the central metal and in coordination chemistry. So now we can talk about Blomstrand-Jorgensen chain theory, the concept of tetravalence carbon and the formation of the carbon-carbon chains in organic compounds were clearly well recognized, depending on one type of valence electrons. So what's Blomstrand said, and his student Jorgensen suggests there could be only 3 bonds to cobalt-3 in its complexes. Therefore, a chain structure was used to account for addition of 6 ammonia molecules in this complex. So the 3 chloride are separated of some distance from the cobalt, therefore believed to precipitate radially when introduce silver chloride on addition of the silver to the chloride attached to NH3 may be dissociated. Okay, so now this is the compound cobalt chloride 6-amine. We can formulate this or make this Lewis structure will be the cobalt, and there is 3 amines attached, and there will be chloride at the end of the amines. Okay, so the chloride will be at the end of the chain, and the ammonia, 3 ammonia groups are coordinated to the cobalt. The first compound, if you see here, 6-amine. The 6-amine, we have, or ammonia, 2 ammonia as a chain coordinated to the cobalt, 2, 2, 2, and they are 6. Here are 1 and 1 ammonia and 4 in one chain. You see the difference? So this arrangement here, different from this. And once we come to so the 6 have 2 isomers. 2 isomers. So here, in all cases, the chloride, okay, between this and this, the chloride is attached to the amino group. You see, as 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, and here 1 chloride, 4 NH3 chloride, 1 NH3 chloride. Okay, if we come to 5 NH3, it's been found by crystallography analysis. They found 1 chloride attached, coordinated to the cobalt. The other 2 are in 4 chains and 1 chain. The 4 ammonia here been found 2 chloride atom attached or bonded directly to the cobalt. The third one is after the chain. And the 3NH3 been found 2 coordinated chloride to the iridium and 3NH3 with 1 chloride there. So now the compound, you see, they are all the same structure, same formula, sorry, same formula, but different structures. So we can find isomers, we can find different, so every one of them depend on the color and how many NH3 and how the chlorine attached or coordinated to the amino group or to the central atom. So some questions, write equations of adding silver nitrate to cobalt chloride involved COCl3 and 6-amine, 5, 4, 3-amine respectively. So you have to do the full formula here. The answer, cobalt 3 chloride 6-amine with 3 silver nitrate. It will end up with cobalt 6-amine, and there is a salt 3 groups of AgCl precipitates. When there is a 5 amine, 5 amino group here with 2 silver nitrate. So Ag, 2 Ag with 2 Cl, remaining 1 Cl inside. So 2 Ag here, to bond to 2 chlorine from here. So 1 chlorine left inside the bracket. This is the complex, and this is the salt. When you produce 1 silver nitrate to the 4 NH3, so there is 1 AgCl precipitate, and the rest will stay inside. 2 chlorine. 1 silver nitrate to 4. Here we have we have 2 isomers, so could be this is cis, this is the cis, and when it's trans could give a different color, whereas the similar AgCl, but from inside the chlorine is coordinated to okay, it's positioned differently in the space than that. This is a trans means one opposite to each to other. Cis, 2 chlorine, 1 beside 1. Cobalt chloride 3, 3NH3 with the silver nitrate, there will be no reaction here because no precipitation, PPT. Okay, so now we can stop here to Werner coordination theory. Thank you for listening.